Hey developers, I'm Evan Vishy, Community Manager at Tatum, and today we're joined by Mickey Maher, SVP of Flow Partnerships. Flow is one of the most unique and in-demand blockchains as of late, hosting blockchain app behemoths like NBA Top Shot and other apps being built by large brands and IP holders. We're really excited to have Mickey here with us today to pick his brain about Flow and the future of blockchain apps. So how are you doing, Mickey?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Thanks for joining us. So I guess we'll take things from the top. So what's your background and how did it lead you to the blockchain space?
You know, my background is 14 or 15 years, and I feel bad saying that because it ages me, but 14 or 15 years in the consumer application or gaming space. So I got pretty lucky back in 2007. I joined the Facebook tidal wave when they opened their platform. They opened it up to apps, an open ecosystem that, resulted in the Farmvilles of the world popping up on the social or viral channels. So I did that on the Facebook platform, and then I found the next platform, which was mobile, and I spent a good 8 years or so in the mobile space, in the mobile ecosystem. As that matured and has gotten saturated in 2017, 2018, I was kind of looking for what I wanted to do next. Where was the next tidal wave? What was the next platform or technology that was going to be a growth engine for consumer applications? And that's when I came across CryptoKitties in late 2017. I had been, playing with crypto, Bitcoin, like most of us for a while. But when I saw CryptoKitties, it just really clicked that, what the blockchain smart contracts and at that time Ethereum had to offer could potentially be the next growth engine for apps and entertainment apps and games. So decided to look a little bit deeper into the company, Dapper Labs, and the rest is kind of history. So I joined Dapper Labs right after CryptoKitties blew up in early 18, and I've been here for over 3 years, and I truly do believe the blockchain is the next engine or platform for games, entertainment, and collectibles.
Cool. So maybe to talk a little bit more about Dapper Labs, how did they go from CryptoKitties to Flow?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to understand how they even got to CryptoKitties, right? Dapper Labs actually comes from a venture studio, which is almost a decade old, called Axiom Zen. And Axiom Zen's had multiple successes or test cases in taking emerging technologies or platforms and building experimental consumer apps on those platforms and growing them. So they much like I did in 2017, saw the crypto space and said, hey, there's more to do in the space than just speculate or trade cryptocurrency. So Axiom Zen decided to test a consumer application on the Ethereum blockchain called CryptoKitties. And in testing CryptoKitties, we actually had to write the ERC 721 standard to do so, which essentially invented the NFT at that point. So Axiom Zen spun out Dapper Labs. Dapper Labs launched CryptoKitties, and CryptoKitties ultimately was a success, proved out our hypothesis that friendly IP, games and entertainment could drive a mass market adoption or a mass consumer to a blockchain. So that was one thing that CryptoKitties taught us. The second thing that CryptoKitties taught us was that to truly go mass market or to truly scale, Ethereum was probably not going to be the viable home moving forward in its current form. I mean, we crashed, Ethereum crashed multiple times with CryptoKitties at very, very small scale. So to accomplish anything like what we've done with NBA Top Shot, it needed to be built somewhere else or on a more suitable platform for these entertainment experiences. So we did a lot of research in existing layer ones, layer twos on Ethereum, looked at what was being thought of Ethereum 2.0, et cetera. So it was about 6+ months of research. And That research led us down the path to the conclusion that most, if not all, of these newer blockchains or sidechains were optimizing purely for scalability while sacrificing many of the other things that made CryptoKitties great and made building on the blockchain great. So the only viable conclusion that we could come to was we would have to build our own layer one chain with NFTs and entertainment applications in mind from the ground up. And that's what Flow is. Flow is a decentralized blockchain open for anyone to build on, but specifically made for NFTs and entertainment applications. And I would argue it is the only one with these types of experiences in mind from the ground up. So in parallel, we decided to build, kind of put our money where our mouth is and build the flagship application and launch that on Flow. And that's what you see with NBA Top Shot. So we have the platform, the open ecosystem, Flow, and then we have our Dapper Studio, which launched the flagship application, NBA Top Shot, on top of Flow.
Okay, awesome. So you mentioned you think this has the potential to change the whole world of entertainment. How do you mean that? How do you see this happening?
Yeah, look, we've already done it.
Mm-hmm.
Top Shot is the fastest growing marketplace of any kind in history, right? So the blockchain or NFTs give you true digital ownership for the first time. So this type of use cases can only occur now with these blockchain technologies, Flow, et cetera, and smart contract technology. So at a minimum, it's enabling true ownership. It's enabling transparency on the ledger. It's enabling seamless peer-to-peer transactions for users. It's enabling creators or IPs or brands to capture downstream revenue of their creation on any secondary marketplace trades, et cetera, et cetera. So this technology has opened up all kinds of different use cases that have not been previously available.
Sure.
Things that aren't even being, the surface isn't even being scratched yet, are things like great utility for NFTs or applications powered by the blockchain. So you're building, you have assets that people care about, that are brands people care about, that they can truly own. What technology, or what digital technology and the blockchain does, it allows utility or uses of those NFTs to be built around that core asset experience, right? Simply in CryptoKitties, it's a breeding mechanic. But in CryptoKitties, what we discovered and what ended up happening is, due to the openness of smart contracts and of the platform, we started to see a lot of user-generated content and user-generated apps spin up to create additional utilities for CryptoKitties. So when you think about the space and the true ownership and the composability of smart contracts, you start to think of both first-party and third-party applications that pop up to create use cases used by millions of users for their NFTs, for their collectibles, for the tokens that they own.
Cool. So you mentioned we're just scratching the surface. If you could envision the ultimate blockchain-based game, what would that look like? What features would it have that wouldn't otherwise be possible? And yeah, so I mean, yeah, how would this change the field?
The beauty of this is I don't have to imagine it, because with the openness of the blockchain, you're bringing the world of creators together. They use smart contracts, to use blockchain technology as these Lego building blocks to build on top of the work that everyone else has done, right? And this is why this term metaverse is widely used at this point, because really what's happening here, and really what the potential is the metaverse can exist, where all these creators are coming together and building into each other and next to each other, on top of each other, to create this hugely immersive world or experience that exists on the blockchain. what does that look like? What is the actual metaverse and its, when it's fully realized? I have no idea, but I'm really excited to have technology and to be part of technology that will enable that, and B, to kind of find out what the world of creators and what the world of entrepreneurs do with that technology to bring these experiences to life.
Cool. So as far as building on Flow, what kind of tools are currently available for developers who want to build apps on Flow or games?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things to note here. So we, as some of the most experienced builders on Ethereum, had our problems with Solidity, the smart contract language, much like every other Ethereum developer has. So we decided to create and build our own smart contract language called Cadence, which is, we believe, and many of our developers building on Flow believe, it's a much better fit for asset ownership than Solidity. I mean, it's resource-oriented. It's a resource-oriented smart contract language that was built by our CTO and our team specifically for NFT purposes on the Flow blockchain. There are multiple third-party developers live on Flow already, so there are multiple open source smart contracts available for use. If a developer doesn't want to come in and build their own smart contract, or they want to use smart contracts as building blocks to build something on top of those. So those exist. We've created a client library called FCL, or Flow Client Library, into the Flow ecosystem, designed to solve for some of the pain points that we experienced on Ethereum. It functions something like Wallet Connect or Web3 environment. What it is it's a middle layer, or a library in which wallets, payments, etc. can plug into one end, dApps can come in and plug into the other end, and that basically opens, it allows dApps to seamlessly and easily connect to all wallets and payment mechanisms that are in our ecosystem. So not only do we have this client library that dApps can plug into, we do have a ton of wallets and other services that are plugged into the other side of FCL that dApps can use. You may have also seen the recent announcement, but there is now a stablecoin, dollar-backed stablecoin in the Flow ecosystem that can be used for transactions across the Flow ecosystem, both direct NFT purchases and peer-to-peer NFT purchases can be facilitated by this FUSD stablecoin on Flow. So I mean, there's a number of tools and avenues to build on Flow. I'm sure I'm missing some, but I think those come to the top of my mind, and those are the core components of building on Flow.
Cool. So
sorry, I do want to add one other thing.
Sure.
One thing that's unique about Flow, and one thing that we help as Dapper Labs enable is developers, third-party developers building successfully on Flow. So with a lot of other blockchains, you're kind of there fending for yourself, discovering how to build on that blockchain, and kind of executing on an island by yourself. With Flow, you get the power and expertise of Dapper Labs as a facilitator, or as a resource of you as a third party building on Flow. So I have my team includes a developer experience team that has solutions engineers, solutions architects, partner managers. Even you would even have access to potentially game designers or economists that can help you build successfully on Flow. So we're fully incentivized and fully supportive of our third-party ecosystem and our third-party developers building successfully on Flow. And we have a whole team of, in Dapper Labs that is dedicated to ensuring the success of third-party development on Flow.
Cool. Well, yeah, no, it sounds great. So where's it going from here? Is there anything in the pipeline you can talk about or any new developments that are set for the blockchain?
Yeah, there's, we've had a number of announcements recently of folks that are building on Flow. Most recently, the Bitcoin Origins team, which is rebranded to NFT Genius, is bringing a music marketplace and other projects to Flow. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of developers in our pipeline.
Mhm.
And the makeup of these developers is exactly what we wanted to accomplish with Flow. A lot of blockchains have a strategy of taking developers away from other blockchains, most notably Ethereum, and getting them to build on their chain or their side chain or layer two. Our whole goal with NBA Top Shot with Flow is to expand the pie, to bring in more traditional entertainment companies, more traditional entrepreneurs, more traditional creative people, and truly bring this to the mass market instead of shifting the existing developers and resources around from blockchain to blockchain. So what you're seeing with us is in our pipeline are very seasoned entrepreneurs that have built successful businesses on other platforms that see this as a new paradigm or new opportunity. You're also seeing very, very large tier one IP and brands fully exploring building on the blockchain specifically with Flow. So NBA Top Shot's really inspired not just the existing ecosystem, but developers and brands and IP outside of the ecosystem to come in and build creatively in this ecosystem. So what I think you'll see inspired by us is very impressive, very notable, very interesting experiences built by not only great entrepreneurs, but tier one top echelon brands as well.
Right. So, and are there any other, existing obstacles to mass blockchain adoption that you see, and what kind of tools or what things are necessary to overcome these obstacles?
Well, we had this internal come to Jesus moment, 3 years ago. We built CryptoCodes and we asked ourselves that question, and Flow was built to answer that question. So what we saw, not only from a technology perspective, meaning we built our own smart contract language, we built FCL because we saw these things to be missing within the Ethereum ecosystem. So we wanted to make a more technologically proficient or developer friendly blockchain and Flow. But really the questions that we needed to answer and the things we needed to solve for to address exactly what you're asking, what's missing, how do we bring this to more of a mass market? We feel like we've addressed those things. So scalability was a big issue. And as I mentioned earlier in this conversation, many of these blockchains went out to address scalability, but scalability isn't the only issue. A lot of blockchains are addressing scalability. We've addressed scalability with Flow, with a unique 4-node architecture, which separates computation and consensus and allows Flow to scale orders of magnitude better than some of the older blockchains like Ethereum. But that's just the beginning. We believe that users don't necessarily care that it's blockchain technology or there is a cryptocurrency. What they want to do is participate in something new, truly own their assets, be able to trade and sell their assets permissionlessly or seamlessly.
Sure.
So we've taken the approach to abstract or obfuscate the crypto or blockchain nature of the technology. So if you go into NBA Top Shot, the default payment method is fiat. You're paying for NBA Top Shot packs directly with a credit card. We felt like that was a huge missing piece. The UI UX piece, the payments piece, it needed to be smoother. It needed to be something a mass market consumer was used to, like an app store or like an e-commerce experience. You were dead in the water if you were going to go through the whole private key, MetaMask, install a non-custodial wallet, and remember your seed phrase. That whole thing really broke the mass market funnel. So we decided to build that under the layer, underneath the hood, and just layer on traditional payments. And then cost of participating. High tens of dollars, $50 gas fees are fine when you're buying a $2 million piece of art on the blockchain, but it's not fine when you're engaging in microtransactions or playing a game or buying in-app items, right? I can't sell a $2 item and reasonably charge $20 in transaction fees. So we had to figure out how to make transaction fees and fees on Flow orders of magnitude less than what you're seeing, fractions of a cent versus tens of dollars. And we've done that, but we've done something beyond that. We've created our account system or our account technology so that it's seamless and native to the platform, that anyone can sign transactions on behalf of anyone else. So the idea here is that developers can not only cheaply pay for transactions on behalf of their users, but they can seamlessly and easily do it. So the user never has to understand gas. The user never has to touch crypto to participate. The users are just holding a pool of tokens and paying for transactions on behalf of their users, enabling a more free-to-play or a mass market consumer friendly experience.
Sure. Sounds great. I mean, yeah, it's all quite inspiring, and it sounds like a big thing here is kind of enabling consumers to use blockchain without really having to think about using blockchain. And it sounds like you guys are doing that great.
Yeah, that was, to us, when we looked at our onboarding funnel for CryptoKitties, it was pretty apparent that needed to happen for this to really, for us to really take this to the next level.
Sure. Well, awesome. Well, I think that's all I've got from my side. I mean, if there's anything else you'd like to add or ask, or any ideas you have.
Yeah, I mean, no, I just think, there's, I would say there's a misconception that Flow is a closed ecosystem. That's couldn't be farther from the truth. That misconception is commonly held because NBA Top Shot is somewhat closed. For now, it's opening up, but there's a very distinct difference between what Dapper Studio has done with an IP-based project and what's available on Flow. What's available on Flow is you can come in today and start building, and you can spin up an app on Flow basically without even talking to us, with one caveat. And the caveat is we are providing free smart contract audits for Cadence smart contracts that are built, the ones that haven't been reused, the ones that are built specifically for purposes that are developer purposes that are new. You come to us for a free smart contract audit, and it's only to make sure that the users are safe and that the developers are safe in building, in a new language that's meeting what we see as the standards for building in Cadence. So other than that, that we view that as a service rather than a blocker. But everything else is open. It's an open ecosystem. It's a decentralized ecosystem that anyone can come in and build on top of.
Sure. Well, we're extremely excited to be connected with Flow in that regard, and allowing developers to use our API to build on it. And I think our NFT smart contract just went live today, so got through the audit. So that's,
as you guys found out, you came in, you built on Flow pretty quickly. We turned around your smart contract audit pretty quickly, and I think you're ready to deploy to mainnet any day now. So
yeah. No, I think it's ready to rumble. So we're excited for the future with all that. Well, thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks a lot for taking your time. And we'll put some links in the bottom of the video to onflow.org and to our own API documentation and to the FCL documentation as well. And yeah, thanks again for joining us, Mickey. It's been a great chat.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Cool. And so see you next time, developers, and happy coding.